Hello, this is Eddie the Hamer here of Guitar Tutor Leads, and for this video we're going to have a look at different ways how to improve your improvisation while using some loop pedals. So I will talk a little bit about the setup because that can be useful when you're using loops. So there will be a certain kind of amps, 2 amps, and pedals. We're going to use delay pedals, so we'll talk a little bit about that. And then you've got the actual playing. What do you play? What kind of scales? What kind of notes? And go more into that. So let's first have a look now at the amps I'm using for this purpose. Okay, the amp here, I'm using a Fender Frontman. Now look what I've done with it, because it isn't just the Fender Frontman. I've got actually 2 amps in this box. So what's happened is we've got the original Frontman, and that is just one side, and then it uses a second amp which is on the other side here. I switch both amps, I switch between both amps from the pedal board, but I'll talk about the pedals later. So why do this actually? Well, imagine I've got a loop going and the loop is coming through one amp. It's got particular sound, and then I start improvising and then I use the other amp. Of course, we have only one speaker. I do have here a switch which I can switch from going from one amp to the other, but that would mean you'd still only hear one amp at a different time, at the same time. At different time. So let's have a quick look at the back to show you what's possible with this as well. We've got a line out for both amps, which means basically not using this feature at the moment, but you can take them to PA systems. It's very useful. Of course, slightly different sound compared to when you mic it up, but it does work very well. What I also have is external speaker sockets, so you can use bigger speakers, or in this case we use the internal speaker for amp 1. Amp 2 uses a different speaker. So in that case you can use both amps at the same time because they both have a separate speaker. So just a quick sound how different they sound. So this is amp 1. To amp 2, which is darker and more primitive. So all of that is quite useful for when you're playing with loops, because you've got 2 different sounds, and it's far more inspiring to play with that rather than just everything coming through one speaker. Of course, you could use 2 different amps. You don't have to go like modifying an amp to do like what I've done here. But what I like about it is you've got one enclosure and you've got 2 amps in there. There will be an article connected to this video, and there will be an image right at the top of this article, and there you can see an image of that amp which is inside the box, because the enclosure, or the little amp, the chassis for it is still in there. There isn't much space in this amp anymore. It's got like a metal box, which is this amp here. The controls have been connected with wires, but the actual box is still there. But you can see that on the article. You'll see it. Okay, so here we've got the pedal board. I used the pedals. I mentioned the 2 amps. Well, let's just start a bit with the 2 amps so you can hear why I'm actually going to use pedals. So this is amp 1. Now I'm going to go to 2. Yeah, you can hear the difference in sound, but it's still quite kind of a dry sound, and that's of course, well, what can I do with amps? They can give a different sound, but that's it. So then the next step is you can alter your sound by using whatever pedal you want to use. You could use, for instance, level altering pedals like distortions. I've chosen for this particular thing delay pedals. So as you can see, I'll just take you through what we have here. So the guitar goes into the tuner. That doesn't alter the sound, of course. Then it goes into the Digitech delay. It's one of the mid 80s, so the sound is kind of, it's like, it is digital, but it's still a bit darker than the more modern ones. I'll come back to that pedal because there's a few things about it. Signal flows from there into DD6. Most people will know the DD6. This is the regular delays of Boss. Then from there it goes to my AB box, so it can alter the sound, go from one amp to the other if I want to, and then it flows into the DD7, which I mainly use for loops. And the DD7 is connected to volume pedal, so I can change the volume, the level of the loop, while I'll play over the loop using the other amp. So the Digitech, what's great about that, well, so let's just switch it on. You've got the three different settings for delays: short delay, mid, and then long delays. So maybe just so this is, just get it a bit. Short delay, for instance, and you can get also, what do you call it, slapback bit. So mid, and then a bit longer, the next one. There's a hold function in it, so for instance you can do that as well. Yeah, you can change the pitch. You can't do that with the Boss ones, that's great. You can also, like, I just did that, put it on pause, your loop. Wow, it's still there. It's still there, you know, that's good. And it's good that you can alter the pitch. Let me see what else. There is like a mix of your direct sound and affected sound. So I'm using the loop, so when it's on the loop function, it works a little bit like a volume. What is unique about it, I think, compared to most other delay pedals, regular ones, is you can change your level coming into the pedal, how much signal goes in and how much goes out. One drawback, the pedal is switched off. My level is kind of set in between here. If I turn this all the way down, I got nothing. So you always will go through this, whatever you do. So it's almost like a preamp, but it doesn't really alter the sound that much. They're a bit noisy. If you use them on batteries, be a bit quieter. That's just the wiring inside the pedal. But apart from that, it's fine. Let's now go into like using the two delays, why that can be quite good. So I'll just get this one for like, let's just play something. Without. The delay, it's dry, and the delay can make it a bit fuller. I'm gonna do with the DD7, just have a listen. Without, so I got more feedback if you listen to the DD7 on its own. DD6, sorry. You hear that? So basically the feedback, because I got that low on the Digitech. And also another, what is it? The delay setting is of course a bit different. So use them both. So this is all to give you a more inspiring sound rather than it being just bone dry. I mean, the bone dry sound, I do like that as well, because it's got a certain appeal, but you know, when you have a few more sounds, you got more options to play with. Okay, let's now go into playing, what we actually do with the notes. Okay, so we got our ramps in place and we got the pedals. So what do you actually then play on the guitar? Well, a simple idea I use a lot is playing a scale or your notes you want to play, rather than call it a scale, over one string, because you see exactly where you're going and then you can alter your notes. So let me bring up that first thing we had, how we started this video, which is just like an E chord, kind of. So I'm going to play, to start with, E major, Ionian, E Ionian. Delay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to alter that. So go to major again. I'm going to go to minor. On one string, you see what you're doing, which is very useful. You don't have to play fast, just hear the effect of the note choice, of what you're doing. On the blog, I'll write out different scale ideas you can use for yourself, and some of you may already do these things. I just played it on my B string. You can of course play it anywhere. You can play it across your strings. It's just when you're not familiar with this kind of idea, it's so easier to get lost. What you want is, you want to play what you hear, or if you're experimenting with your notes, you just play. And then you can hear probably over time, this is the kind of idea I want to do with it. So just play again a few things. Your modes, of course, they're connected as well. Let me just get the loop off. And when you play over one string, it's so easy to see where you're going and also to hear it, as I said before. And your modes, you got 7 different modes within your major scale. They just give you different sounds, and you can also play with the the chromatic scale, so just alter notes. So again, I'll do a little bit, give you an idea, and I'll mention what I do. So start on the E. That's your leading tone, it's very useful. Major third. Jump to minor. Maybe more bluesy. Do now Dorian, E Dorian. So I was bending and then went out of that scale, and you get different sounds. I mentioned on another video about the string bending. It's very effective. And again, over one string you can get that Indian sound quickly. And it's just part of when you play with improvised music, methods how you can change things. So if I was to sum up what we've done today, so you can get different sound, good sound, inspiring sound, by using 2 different amps, because you have 2 different sounds, 2 different speakers. using pedals to augment the amps, to add a bit more signal. I use for this one delay pedals. Of course, you can go with 3 flanges, for instance, you know, if that's what you like to do. And then the note choice, you playing over one string, for instance. But once you get used to that, you can use whatever. Of course, you're not restricted. But playing over one string also gives you a particular sound as compared to playing across your strings. Mick Goodrick is a good source of inspiration to check out for educational stuff. Pat Metheny is one who uses a lot of playing over one strings. You know, but there's so many different guys. Okay, well, hope you liked it, enjoyed it, got something out of it, and hope to catch you soon again.